We have a pretty interesting opportunity today to go to what is called Zone Conference.
Zone Conference, basically we have it once a transfer where all the missionaries from different zones get together and we uplift each other, and different leaders in the mission gives trainings and kind of counsel to the rest of the mission.
Hello Saints, my name is Jeff. I am a pastor in Utah, exploring everything I can about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I have the amazing privilege and honor to do it with my amazing, wonderful, awesome, cool, and insightful wife, Joy.
Cool.
You are pretty cool.
This is a new one.
It's not new to me. And this is actually the fourth video in a series where we are focusing on Latter-day Saint Missionaries.
We already shared a video where Jeff shadowed some elders.
What do you do if someone seems really intent on proving you wrong or getting into a deep debate with you?
Have a good day.
We shared a video where I shadowed some sister missionaries. How do you guys feel about going that way?
I personally enjoy it.
And then we also shared a video with the Ords, who are mission presidents at the Dallas, Texas West Mission.
What's the biggest misconception about Latter-day Saint missionary work that you wish you could dispel?
You stole my question.
I would love for all of Christianity to know that we do not see enemies or people that we're competing against.
And we've already kind of accomplished the objective, at least personally, of humanizing these individuals. Typically, when you see Latter-day Saints going door to door, it is not uncommon for people, especially from our persuasion, to say, we don't want them around, make them go away. They represent an organization we don't agree with. And the ability to set those disagreements aside for a minute and just to get to know these individuals has been a really powerful experience.
And not even just disagreements, but even preconceived notions.
That's right. We're destigmatizing certain things tied to Latter-day Saint missionaries. And in this video, we want to talk about 3 things that most people probably don't even know take place in a Latter-day Saint mission.
We didn't know.
We didn't know. These are kind of like the best kept secrets, if you will, of all of the inner workings in a Latter-day Saint mission. So one of the first things that I think is really important to highlight, something that we learned that a lot of people don't know about, is just how well these kids are taken care of. And one of the places that we saw this most clearly was when we were invited to go to Zone Conference.
Zone Conference, basically we have it once a transfer where all the missionaries from different zones get together and we uplift each other, and different leaders in the mission gives trainings and kind of counsel to the rest of the mission.
So how many times would you say on average probably does a missionary switch companions?
It can range anywhere from 2 to 3 to, I talked to somebody who had like 12 to 15 different companions.
It's a lot.
So there's this constant stirring of the pot where some of the missionaries are finishing their mission, other missionaries are beginning their mission. They're changing companions. They're even changing certain regions within their mission. And so to get everybody together every 6 weeks is really important. It was really insightful to see what takes place in those zone conferences. But it was everything from housekeeping information.
But yeah, like business meeting, like taking care of like to-do list things.
Yeah, making sure that people know where they're going, if they're changing regions or apartments, who to check in with to make sure they have the information they need. Before they showed up, they had this line of cars, because missionaries are given cars, where one of the senior missionaries there, which we're going to talk about in just a minute, was making sure that all the cars had what they need, that their fluids were filled up, that batteries are charged, that the cars are in good shape. And there were even other things stated pertaining to sort of that housekeeping stuff, where it was like, make sure you're in by a certain time, that you're not spending too much time at members' homes. Make sure that you're being careful with who you're spending time with, to make sure that some of them aren't like falling in love with each other between the elders and some of the sisters. So a lot of it kind of felt to me like youth group in a way, especially when we go on missions trips, which obviously aren't as long as a Latter-day Saint mission, but sort of the housekeeping things to make sure everybody is tracking and on the same page.
Yeah, they also had some of their missionaries performing songs, just as an encouragement to the people there.
And some of the missionaries are assigned to give actual teaching lessons, where they're giving insight on a certain passage of scripture or a certain doctrine or something tied to their experience. And sometimes it's just a couple companions that are assigned to give that lesson to the group. And other times it was a group of elders and sisters who had been studying for the weeks prior to that to present their lesson. Yeah, so this isn't them taking a break. This is actually them pressing in. And even for the mission president. So Jonathan Ord spent a lot of time just encouraging them, giving them scriptural insight, and really exhorting them. And Sister Ord did that as well. Stacy, his wife, was also taking some time to not only give her own lessons, but to interact with the missionaries.
Well, and also they do simple things like celebrate birthdays and give little prizes and things like that to just have fun.
And then they had like a lunchtime where everybody's just kind of chatting and getting to know sort of the new people. And I think President Ord actually arm wrestled one of the missionaries at one point.
Did you arm wrestle him?
I did not.
Why?
Well, I didn't want to embarrass him in front of everybody. So being at Zone Conference just reinforced how intentional this mission president and his wife are in remaining engaged with every single missionary within that mission.
One thing that I really walked away I was almost shocked by, like, how do you even have the time for this? Among all the other things that he's doing and they are doing, and events that they're having to organize and go to and things like that, President Ord was communicating about how he actually each week corresponds through letters with each of the missionaries that are in his mission. So that's like 200 letters each week, and he's reading letters and responding and asking questions about how they're doing and what they're needing and things like that. And so he's really staying personally connected also regularly with these students. I'm like, that would take so much time and work and heart and energy and effort to really invest in each individual life.
And speaking of investment, he doesn't do it alone. That's the second thing that we saw that we had no idea takes place on a Latter-day Saint mission, and that is the number of senior missionaries that are put in place to make sure that they're supporting not just the mission president and his wife, but all of the missionaries. And when we say senior missionaries, we're not talking about seniors in high school. We are talking about seniors as in older in age. And these are individuals who are, in the latter part of their career or maybe retired, and they have specific callings within a stake and within a mission in that region to support every young man and every young woman that's serving on their mission.
But they didn't necessarily always live in that area. These are people that have also been, just like the mission president, they've also been called to this specific area. So several of them have left their homes, left families, left familiarity to come to this area and serve in that way.
And have actually applied to do that. Whereas the mission president and his wife are called, these individuals actually applied and said, we want to help in this way. And we had an evening with them where we were able to have a meal in one of the church buildings, and we kind of went around the table and heard what everybody does. And these are just phenomenal individuals that care so much about every single soul under their care. Everything from a nurse who's making sure that they're healthy, to a finance guy who makes sure that the finances within the mission and that the missionaries are using are being handled correctly, making sure they have the resources they need when it comes to social media reach outs. And I think one of my favorite callings that we saw there, I can't remember the specific title, but individuals that work with outgoing missionaries to make sure they're ready to reassimilate back into real life, if you will, after being gone from home for the past 18 to 24 months.
My favorite, don't remember her name, don't even remember her calling, I gotta be honest. I just remember she threw candy at people. She just walked around throwing candy at people. Like, she's my favorite.
She was great, yeah. I think she was like the cheerer-upper. I think that's one of the callings, yeah. But there was so much camaraderie and togetherness in the room with every senior missionary that was so passionate.
And just loving and caring. They knew that their purpose was to be there to serve these kids and support them in their calling.
That's right. And this is just something that I had no idea even existed. And the third thing that I think a lot of people don't know about when it comes to what goes into a Latter-day Saint mission is that not all missionaries are proselyting. They're not all going door to door. There is a very special calling within every mission called a service missionary. And we were able to spend some time with some of them.
This is an opportunity for people that really want to serve a mission, but maybe have some sort of reason or challenge or health concern that makes it difficult for them to do the traditional proselytizing. So there's an opportunity for these individuals to come and serve at the Bishop Storehouse, where food and goods and services are provided for people in need. I think it's really beautiful to see their hearts to genuinely be doing what they're doing and to be taking so much pride and valuing so much the service that they're able to offer.
And we had an awesome opportunity to spend some time at the Bishop's Storehouse with some of the service missionaries to see them in action and to actually interview a couple of them. So, Elder Parker, where are you from?
I am from here, Texas.
You're from Texas?
Yep.
Is this all you do as a service missionary? Is this your primary role is here at the Bishop's Storehouse?
No, so as service missionaries, you kind of get to choose your own schedule, and that includes various different things. So some missionaries choose to serve here, some missionaries might choose to serve in other locations. Each of them, it depends on the service missionary and what location is willing to accept us. For me personally, I work at another place that helps out with rental and utility assistance for those who need it. You can help out with places outside of our organization as well. So there's those ones. Of course, the storehouse is always an option, and then you can even do things like serving in the temple, which, as you might know, is our kind of house of worship.
So tell me, what is a day like? Will you go, like for example, in the morning, serve somewhere prior to the Bishop's Storehouse opening and then come here, or is it mainly one thing a day, or how does that work?
It depends on the missionary. For me, for the most part, I only serve at one place a day. So in the morning, I will do stuff to get ready. I'll have studies, kind of like you saw with other proselyting missionaries.
Right.
So studying the scriptures, Bible, Book of Mormon. After that, I will do some basic necessities, just getting ready for the day, and whatever I can do to help out my family or serve others if I can. After that, I will come here and I will do this for the day, or in other days, I'll do other assignments. There are a few days that I have more than one assignment, such as Mondays and Fridays. I work at various locations and help out teaching English to missionaries in the Philippines.
Oh, okay.
And so it depends on the missionary, how many things they have, but it is, with the help of the leaders, entirely up to the missionary what they want to do.
Awesome.
Okay, so tell me your name.
I'm Sister Tilton.
Sister Tilton, and how long have you been here in Texas?
At the Bishop's Storehouse, I've only been here like a month or so not very long.
And what has this been like? What kinds of things do you do here? What has it been like to be here serving your mission?
I've mostly been on produce, which is really fun. There are a lot of fun people there. And then it's just a great spiritual environment, and the patrons are always wonderful and they're so nice.
So what sorts of things do you do when you say you're on produce? What does that mean?
It means I stock tomatoes and bell peppers and all of that fun stuff.
Okay, what has been the most rewarding thing so far in your time here, and what has been one of the more challenging things about being on this mission?
So the mission as a whole, I think sometimes I get home and I'm just tired, but it is also rewarding because it's that good kind of tired knowing that I served God's people and I'm able to just be there and be around them. It's just amazing.
So we really did count it a privilege to have this opportunity to go and spend this time with all of these amazing souls in the Dallas, Texas West mission. And for me, what punctuates all of this, one of the coolest experiences of this whole thing, is here we are, these non-Latter-day Saints, in this Latter-day Saint mission at Zone Conference, and they ended their day that we were there with President Ord and his wife, inviting Joy and I to come up in front of all the missionaries and to share our testimony with them. That's how much openness was there. I think that is so important. What a humbling privilege that they're willing to hear from us, especially when we contrast that against so many Protestant evangelicals or historic Christians who are stiff-arming or keeping Latter-day Saints away so that we don't have to talk to each other. They were inviting us to share with them our experiences within our faith and our relationship with Jesus. That openness is important. And I don't know what that meant for you, but I was very humbled and honored to have that opportunity.
It was very sweet, and humbling is a good word to use there. And sharing about our relationship with God and to God, and how that has changed our lives and how we are kind of anchored in our faith. And it was interesting to see the ways that we could connect, the things that we did actually have in common, and the receptivity to hearing our stories and our hearts and our faith.
And I think my main takeaway from all of these experiences can be encapsulated in what I shared during that time. And that is that there were three main senses I had as I'm interacting with these missionaries. And it is seeing what they do, why they do it, and how they do it. And being able to communicate with them when it comes to what they do, there are differences. And we need to be honest that there are differences. What they communicate pertaining to the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith and the Restored Gospel is different than what I communicate. And there are some very clear differences there. And I was able to communicate with them that those differences matter, and we need to be able to talk through those things. And as individuals who are out serving on a mission, I'm sure they're ready to have those conversations. But that we don't need to stop at the what is different, but the why. Almost every missionary we talked to said that they are doing what they're doing because they want to orient people to the Messiah or to Jesus. And I think that that's important. Are there conversations that are had between Latter-day Saints and Protestant evangelicals about who Jesus is? Is it the same Jesus? It is a different Jesus? Without getting into all that, it was so consistent across the board that they have a desire to orient people toward Jesus. That is their why. And we heard that through and through. But I think aside from those two things, the how is what left the biggest impression on me. These young men and these young women are so humble. They are so servant-minded and servant-hearted. And to any Protestant evangelical out there that would say, well, they're just faking it, or this is just a way to kind of like dupe people into hearing what they have to share, I'm sorry, I just didn't see that. There was such a genuine authenticity when it came to their desire to truly serve people, to truly love them, to truly meet people where they're at. And that how was admirable. And I love that I was able to express that admiration to them. I want to be more like them in their posture and in their attitude and how they were serving on their mission, regardless of the duty that they were fulfilling.
The thing that stood out to me, not just in how they did it, was that, you know, they're coming, they know what a mission is all about. They're kind of living their whole life expecting, a lot of them, to be going on a mission at this time in their life. They're preparing for it. They're going to the MTC to prepare. They're learning a language. And then they're coming on their mission for 2 years and they're practicing what they've learned. But some of those things have already been instilled. Some of their, character traits have already been developed. But the thing that I think I saw most and heard most, even in how they were processing and expressing what it meant for them to be on a mission, they are really being shaped by this experience as well.
Very much so. And it starts to make sense for me when I do meet a 28-year-old, a 38-year-old, a 58-year-old, a 68-year-old Latter-day Saint. You can tell when they've served on a mission that there's a quality that exists there that has been refined. Mm-hmm. Something's been forged in them as it pertains to how they view themselves in proximity to people who believe differently than them. And also just sort of there is a humility, I think, that comes out of serving on that mission that sticks with them even after they return.
And not to say that if you don't go on a mission that those character traits can't be instilled or developed in you, but almost the same way kids go off to college to learn in education pertaining to some specific field. This is almost like in regard to service, in regard to character, in regard to love. It's like an intensive experience, how to be, how to do that. And it is really beautiful for us to be able to see that firsthand, and also really inspiring.
Yeah. So we have to say a special thank you to Daryl Eves for making all of this happen. It wouldn't happen without him. You're a friend, and we appreciate you making the connections that needed to be made to give us this amazing experience. And of course, we have to say thank you to President Jonathan Ord and his wife, Sister Ord, Stacy. You guys were amazing. Thank you so much for welcoming us in and giving us these opportunities, and even inviting us to speak into the work that you are doing and to engage with these souls. There's a lot of people that might not trust us to do that, and you did, and we appreciate that.
We also were welcomed in by the senior missionaries. So thank you to you for the dinner, for the conversation, for letting us get to know you, and also hearing us, and also especially the Candy Lady. Thank you so much. But then also all the missionaries that were in there for Zone Conference that we were able to sit with, learn from, hear from, and also that opened their hearts to us. We appreciate your time and your ear and your heart.
And the service missionaries that let us shadow you for a little bit as well. You were all amazing, and we really appreciate it. So if you also appreciated this series and this video, please hit the thumbs up on this video, subscribe, support us on Patreon if you'd like. If not, that's okay. Just keep coming back for more videos as we continue to explore. And until next time, we'll see you later, Saints.